Hey everyone, it's Dusty with Cowork Health, and today I'm going to give you a high-level overview of how to use the platform. So the whole purpose of Cowork is to provide you as an employer in the medical facilities that provide your augmented services a modern and secure way to communicate back and forth, and so that PHI does not end up in one of your email inboxes. And so I'm going to go through each of the menus on the left-hand side here from a very high level. We will have other videos if you need to know how to do very specific things in the platform. And so messages, you probably guessed what this is for, but this is where you would communicate back and forth with those medical facilities. You simply do that by hitting new message here. It'll default to the clinic that you're working with. And the next choice you need to make is who from your company can see this message. And we're only talking about Cowork users here. And so you might have multiple users for your company that using this platform. Can everybody see this message, or can only specific users for specific departments see this message? And so for this example, I'll say, hey, only the human resource department users can see this message. From there, it's pretty much like sending an email, right? You put in the subject line, your message, and then I can attach relevant attachments to this message. If it's already in the platform, like there's a result or an invoice or an auth already in here, I can actually connect it to that specific thing. Or if I need to attach a new file, I can do that right here. I can attach another one if I need to, and then hit send message. And that will notify the clinic that I have a new message from you. And then they can communicate back and forth with you that way. So let's actually look at what that looks like. So if I jump in to a message here, you can see this one's related to an invoice. On the right-hand side here, I just want to point out, because this is a theme throughout every screen, it's going to be quick access to any attachments or any messages related to this specific thing. And then it also reminds you of who can see this message and asset within your company. You can actually edit who can see this from here as well. But the main point here is you can see who can see this. I can click on this little button here and it gives me a quick preview of what that invoice is. I can jump to the specific invoice if I need to see that in more detail. Now, say you or the clinic needs a reply, they would just simply go to the reply section here, type in what that message is, and then you can even attach additional files here in that reply as well, and then hit send reply. And now you are communicating back and forth securely with that clinic. I'm going to jump back to the messages home screen here and point out just a couple more things. One, every screen has a search bar. So if you do need to find something really quickly, like a result or an author or anything else, you can search for that and do it that way. Just like within the message, these have little previews outside it too. So if you need just a quick view of what's in that invoice or result and don't even want to jump into the entire message, you can do that and then jump to that specific result from here. All right, that's messages. I'm going to actually skip authorizations for now and go to results. So results, instead of you getting fax results or however you get those can now appear in Cowork as well. You can see all historical results within here. If I jump into one here, this is what that looks like. You can see obviously the employee, who it was for, when it was created, any additional details the clinic might have added to that. And then obviously the result itself will be there for you to click on and view. I'm going to point out the right-hand side here again. And so it has quick access to that same file. It reminds you of who can see this specific result. You can edit that if you need to. But the main thing I want to point out here is, say you have a question about this specific result. You could go to the messages screen, right, and start that message like we showed you. Or a quicker and easier way is just to click new message here on the top right. And that's going to automatically fill in the subject line. So they know it's related to this specific result. And then obviously it connects it to this specific result too. And then the message, this is where you would type your question or comment and then hit send message. And then when they get notified, all that stuff, all the relevant information is already attached to that message. So it's just a little bit quicker and easier to do that from the specific result or auth or invoice than having to start a message from scratch. All right, jumping to invoices, it looks a lot like results. But if I jump into one here, you can see what that looks like. You can get the invoice number, how much it's for, and when it was created. Now, if you want to see the specific invoice in more detail, just click view file here, and I can look it over, make sure it looks right. I can also download it from the screen, or I can print it if I need to. And then this pay now button, you may or may not see this. This is for online payment. Some clinics have it available. Some clinics do not. If they do, you'll see that button, you can click it and then pay that invoice right away. If they do not, you just won't see that button. And that's where when you're going to want to open that file and probably print that or download it and make that payment like you normally would by either mailing them a check or calling the clinic and making the payment that way. All right, I'm going to jump over to authorizations here. And so this is another screen, just like that pay now button. You may or may not see authorizations. Not all clinics have this available. If they do though, instead of calling the clinic and saying, hey, I have this employee coming in, they need these services, or filling out an authorization form and signing that to send along with the employee when they go in, you're going to now be able to go into Cowork, hit new authorization here, and then fill it out digitally. And so I just, you put the employee name, their date of birth, so they can validate that they have the right employee, and you would pick what services you need performed for that employee. One other thing I'll point out here is if you do have an agreement or a contract in place with that clinic, you're going to see that reduced list of services specific to that agreement. But you always have the option to go into all services here. And this shows you all the services that clinic has available. So maybe you need something else for this specific employee. You can check out the all services list and order off that menu as well. I'm going to keep scrolling down here. You can add any details or special instructions if you need to as well. You do not need to. And you can attach a file if for some reason you had some attachment you need to put with that authorization. Once you hit send authorization, that's going to notify the clinic of that auth. And when that employee walks in, they can validate the name, the company they're with, and their date of birth. And they know specifically what services they need to provide without you needing to call or bring that form. Okay, so the last screen here is my company. You may or may not be an admin of Cowork for your company. If you're an admin, you have some special privileges, right? You can some additional functionality that you can do. And the main thing is you're going to see this My Company screen. If you are not an admin, you just will not even see this menu option. So if you are though, you're going to have a few options here you can edit the departments for your company and what users are part of which departments. And then you can also edit what users are part of Cowork for your company. And so say you have a new person that started and they need access to Cowork as well. You don't even need to contact the clinic to add that. You can just hit new user here and add them that way. And again, we're going to go into more detail on all these things in other videos on how to do these very specific things. But from a very high level, that is how you're going to use Cowork. And so hopefully it's helpful. Thanks.